Welcome to the Thrive with Technology podcast. I'm Curt Dueck, and I've spent the last few decades helping businesses leverage their technology. Our goal here is to discuss where technology intersects with business and leave you with some new information to move forward. Stop me if you've heard this one. So an IT guy walks into your office and says, "Hey boss, Jerry's computer's dead, and we're going to need to replace it. They cost about $1,500. Do you want me to order that?" What are the first things going through your head? I know in the past for me, things like, didn't I just buy one last month? How is this a surprise? Like, did we not know it was coming? Is there another option? Could I move something around? The thing is, almost everyone I talk to tells me that technology is more important and integrated into their business than it was even 3 years ago. The problem is that without a plan, we're often making investment and spending decisions, not on their strategic opportunity, but on other values like cash flow or how I feel that day or how much IT's cost me recently. An easy step in IT maturity is to plan and budget. And that plan and budget that connects your technology to the product or service you provide to your customers. When I help organizations create IT budgets, I start by placing everything into 3 categories: recurring expenses, capital expenses, and administration. Your recurring expenses are pretty simple. They're made up of your utilities, internet, web hosting, VoIP systems, applications, things like Office 365, QuickBooks, or your other line of business apps. And then lease and rent. What are the printers, the networking equipment that you're paying monthly for on some sort of lease or rent? Your capital expenses are made up of equipment replacement or repair. Now, most people can find that, but it's less likely that you're going to plan for it ahead of time. But that's a number that's pretty easy to figure out. Growth. If you're adding employees or some line of business that didn't exist that requires technology. And then finally in that capital, strategic investments. These are things to gain more business leverage from technology. It could be a tool to increase productivity, or an automation, or some application that's going to reduce the risk of loss of data. And then finally, your support and administration. These are the costs that fix your reactive issues, but they also should be there to make your IT more secure and reliable. Generally, they're aligning your technology to security and reliability standards. Now, when you've done that, you've ended up with your annual spending. The next step is really to look over each expense and ask yourself, what organizational goal is each of those serving? Is it helping you produce? Is it reducing risk? If you spent more or less on that line, would it affect the leverage of that item? A simple example is most organizations used to budget for a server every, 5 to 7 years. But what I'm seeing is with users being more remote, a lot of organizations are contemplating whether they're going to move that capital expense to a recurring one and migrate some of the services into the cloud. The key here is really to identify the levers to help you make better decisions. I hope you found this really helpful. And if you want more information on it, reach out. I'm always around.